Oh, one more thing.
What's that?
Happy Thanksgiving, Canadians.
Happy Thanksgiving, Canada.
I can't believe it is almost Thanksgiving.
I know, right? It's like already October, and I know you hate it when I say it's almost Halloween, it's almost Christmas.
Yeah, like 2 months off.
This is Canadian Thanksgiving. We have it on the second Monday of every October, and it's this coming Monday. And so we're making caramel apple cheesecake for one of the desserts this weekend because Dude doesn't like pumpkin.
No, I don't.
There's so much he doesn't like. You guys have no idea.
No, I'm a pretty open-minded guy when it comes to food.
Uh-huh. You can find one of my cheesecake recipes in the recipe book, which is what? Are you going to put the link up here?
Yeah.
And there's always a link in the description to the cookbook. And the cookbook recipe is a shortbread crust with a lemon cheesecake. But we're just going to make a plain cheesecake today, but with kind of an oatmeal kind of bottom. Like if you think apple crisp, that's what this cheesecake is going to be like.
Does that mean it's going to be healthier for you?
There's fruit in it.
And oats.
And oats. But first I'm going to line my pan because this will make it easier for it to come out. And I just have a piece of parchment paper that I folded in half. And I'm going to fold it in half again and then into a triangle. This is not easy to do it in the air. Here we go. Okay, I have a 7-inch by 3-inch push pan. So the bottom comes right out. It's different from a springform pan because it doesn't spring open. I prefer this push pan, and it took me forever to find it. I had looked everywhere, but I finally found it at a local local cook store called the Gourmet Warehouse. And yeah, it wasn't available on Amazon when I was looking for it. So now I finally have a few. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough to make multiple desserts. All right, so I'm just gonna line the point up with the, eyeball the center, and then cut the paper. I think it's too big. I think that's better. This just makes it easier to remove the cheesecake from the pan, or from the bottom of the pan. Okay. Just set the pan aside, and we're just going to mix up these very simple ingredients: 3/4 cup of flour, 3/4 cup of oats, and half a cup of brown sugar. We're just going to stir it up. All right, just mix it up until everything's incorporated, making sure there's no huge lumps of brown sugar in there. Then we're going to add a half cup of melted butter.
Oh, butter.
I had melted this earlier, so it's kind of solidified a little bit at room temperature. It's still liquid. So doesn't this look like the top of an apple crumble?
Sure does.
All right, that's what we're using. And I'm just going to pour it in there, and I'm going to pour it into the pan and press it down until it forms a crust. My family likes a lot of crust.
Tell me, people, who doesn't like lots of crust?
Well, I don't really like pie crust that much,
You're not part of our family then. Because the kids and I would totally deconstruct a slice of pie, eat all the filling, and leave the crust for last. Who else does that? Tell us. Comment down below.
All right, so I haven't pressed it firmly yet, but I've pressed most of it down, and I'm starting to push some of the crust up the edge. And I'm gonna grab a glass, and we're going to use that to press it down further. Okay, so with the bottom of a glass, you can just And push it down.
Is that your workout for the day?
Yeah.
Okay, well, make sure you stretch out afterwards then.
Okay, and you can push it around the edge as well. And then we're going to bake this. And see how that has been pushed kind of up the sides a little bit. And we're going to put that in a preheated 350 Fahrenheit oven for 12 to 15 minutes.
All right.
And then in the meantime, we're going to work on our cheesecake filling. Hey Google, set the timer for 12 minutes.
All right, 12 minutes, and that's starting now.
I have this new paddle with the scraper attached. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, I am loving it, not having to scrape my bowl down every time, but I did bring my spatula just in case I need to get the stuff at the very bottom. But if you've seen my cheesecake recipe, you'll know that there's a lot of stopping and scraping down, stopping and scraping down. So I'm really hoping that using this spatula paddle, maybe that's what it's called, spatula paddle, I won't have to scrape it down as much.
Let's see.
All right. I'm starting off with just one package of cream cheese, and it's an 8-ounce package. And all my ingredients are already at room temperature. Okay, we're going to beat the cream cheese until smooth. Okay, and then while it is still beating, we're going to add half a cup of sugar in a steady stream. Okay, and once that's smooth, I'm finding that there is a little bit of cream cheese that is just on the side that I want to scrape down so that it's all incorporated. In the next little part, we're going to start adding ingredients and mixing for 30 seconds at a time. So I'm starting with half of the sour cream. So I have a cup of sour cream here, and I'm just going to use half of it. 30 seconds. Okay, adding the rest of the sour cream. I'm going to lift this up because I'm going to make a mess otherwise.
You know yourself.
Well,
so
I'm working backwards here. Okay, adding the rest of the sour cream, which is the other half. It's so ridiculous. We have this high school near us, and when they go for a run, they all insist on running on the road instead of the sidewalk. And so all afternoon, all we hear is, car, car. It's ridiculous. Just run on the sidewalk, then you won't be hit by a car. Do you hear that? All right, another 30 seconds. Okay, and now we're adding 1 egg. And again, beating it for 30 seconds. I just wanted to double check to make sure that everything was being incorporated, and I did find there was a little bit of clumpiness at the bottom, so I just scraped it up. And now I'm going to add the zest of 1 lemon. And you want just the yellow part, like don't go grating the white part because that's quite bitter. I can't get my bottle of vanilla open. Dude.
seriously?
Seriously.
Do you need me to help?
Yeah.
I've been working out just for this moment. After an epic battle with the lid, I got it off.
All right, we're using 1 teaspoon of vanilla. All right, and again, we're going to beat this for 30 seconds. Oh, the crust is ready. Hey Google, stop. So we're gonna let the crust cool for about 5 minutes, and while that is cooling, we will prepare our Instant Pot to cook the cheesecake. I have half a cup of water already in the pot, and have my trivet put in. And I'm using these little pieces of aluminum foil that I folded up to hook on as handles so I can easily remove this trivet, because once the cheesecake is in there, it's going to be hard to take out. I just made these once and reused it over and over again until I can't use them anymore. All right, the crust has cooled down quite a bit, and now I'm going to just fill it with the cheesecake mixture that we've made. The reason why we stop and scrape and stop and scrape and only beat for 30 seconds at a time is we want a super smooth cheesecake. And look at that, there's like no lumps in it whatsoever. It's gonna be delicious. Okay, just gonna make sure there's no air bubbles in there. 2 inches apart. Okay, I also find that when we remove the lid, or sometimes during the pressure cooking, that liquid will form on top. So I have a silicone lid that I'm using, and it fits perfectly on top. If you don't have a silicone lid, you can just use a piece of foil. This will also keep the foil handles from touching the cheesecake. And I'm gonna put the lid on, locking it into place, making sure the sealing knob is on sealing. And we're going to manual high pressure for 35 minutes. Let it cook, and then when it's done, we're going to let it natural release for 10 minutes. Okay, we cooked it for 35 minutes and then let it natural release for 10 minutes. You can see there is some liquid on top of the lid, so it is necessary to cover it when you're cooking. And we just want it to be just set. It's a little bit jiggly in the middle. That's what we want. So we're gonna let this cool until it's room temperature, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge and let it chill overnight. It's already late in the day, so it will be overnight. We can chill it for as little as 4 hours, maybe even 3. But you would have to start making your cheesecake earlier in the day if you want it for dinner that night. Great, see you in the morning.
All right, what's going on now? Update on the cheesecake.
Okay, cheesecake has been like cooling in the fridge overnight, and now we are making the caramel sauce that's going to go on top. Well, if you really wanted to not make caramel sauce, they do make caramel sauce in a jar. But dude thought I should be legit and make my own caramel sauce.
Yeah, otherwise people would call you up, namely me first.
I am using a heavy duty stainless steel pot. I'm heating it up on medium, and I'm going to add my half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. Oh my goodness. I am a total gong show today. And now I've estimated how much I've actually spilt and adding that back into the pot. Oh, brother. See, should have just opened the jar. Okay, we're just going to cook this until it's dissolved. And I'm using a silicone whisk. You don't have to keep stirring it. You could use brown sugar if you want. I'm just using granulated sugar, but it's the organic one, so that's why it's a bit yellow. Right, the sugar has dissolved and now it's starting to boil. So I'm gonna bump up the heat and we are going to let it boil for about, it could take anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes, I think. But we want the color of the sugar water at this point to be an amber color. There's no need to stir at this point. Maybe even bump it up to max.
If you guys are wondering what that whirring sound is in the background, it's this thing. It's the jewel. And what are we cooking?
We are making turkey breasts wrapped in bacon.
Did you say bacon?
I even made a lattice with the bacon to wrap it in.
Oh, but you guys won't see it. We haven't filmed
sorry, we didn't film it.
Yeah. Next time.
It's been about 3 minutes and it's starting to change color, but this is still not dark enough, so I'm just gonna still watch it very carefully because it changes very quickly. All right, so now it's changed to the exact color I want, and I'm gonna pour in my whipping cream, and then we're gonna stir. And at this point, we're going to drop pats of butter in one at a time. So I had a 1/3 cup of whipping cream, and now I have 2 tablespoons of butter that I've chopped up into small chunks. And I'm going to turn the heat off though. And the last piece of butter.
And that's it?
And that's it. That's caramel.
Wow.
Just like that. Then if you wanted to make salted caramel, you could have added salt. Or if you want to add some vanilla to it, you can do that too. But essentially, this is it. And it will thicken some more as it cools. So just to give you guys the recipe again, it was 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of water. Bring that to a boil. Let it boil for 4 to 8 minutes. It took, for me, about 4 minutes. And then add your whipping cream slowly while stirring constantly. And once the cream has been incorporated into the caramel, then add 2 tablespoons of butter in small pieces, one at a time, until they're melted. And that's it. I'm going to pour this into a bowl and let it cool. We are now cooking our apples. So I've heated up my cast iron frying pan. I'm adding a tablespoon of butter. And I've sliced up 2 Granny Smith apples. So this has been sauteing for about 5 minutes. And you can cook it down as much as you want. I kind of like it kind of just slightly cooked, not completely mushy. But if you want it to be mushier, just cook it longer. I'm going to squeeze 1/4 of a lemon in here. And adding 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And if you're using a sweeter apple, you can cut down on the sugar. But the Granny Smith is on the tart side. And then at this point, if you wanted to add some cinnamon, you can do that too. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm just going to cook that down until the butter, or not butter, the sugar has dissolved. Okay, so just cook that down for another minute. And we're going to turn off the heat. Remove it in the bowl to cool. I'm going to let that cool off a bit before we assemble our cheesecake. All right, check it. Cheesecake is perfect. And you know what? I am going to just make sure that it's fully detached from the side. It looks like it is, but it might still be sticky. So I'm just going to go grab a plastic knife. Anyone know what this is? It's not a plastic knife. I don't know what it is. I don't even know where it came from.
Well, it's made out of plastic, that's all we know. But the proper name escapes us at this moment. This could end badly, folks.
Whoa! Seriously.
Right?
Yeah, because, you know, phloem.
Yeah.
All right.
Simple, ordinary, joyful, and...
and disastrous. Okay, remember I had a piece of parchment paper under there? So I am simply going to take it off that piece of paper, hopefully. transfer it onto. That looks pretty delicious, I must say.
That looks really good.
So see, my caramel has thickened. So I'm just gonna spread that on. And I just wanted to show you that it's pretty close to the caramel color of this jar of caramel.
True.
Right? And it was pretty easy to make. Just going to pour this on. And let it ooze over the sides as it wants. And the apples have also cooled down to room temperature, and I'm just gonna scoop it on. You can layer it on and make it all pretty, but I'm not really great at that. So I am just going to push all the apple into the center and pile it on. I was going for the rustic look. I just want to say, remember everyone, that all the tools that I use in my videos can be found in the description below. And now it's time for
the taste. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm putting myself in great danger because I'm terribly lactose intolerant. And because this is cheesecake, well, you know what the results can be for those who are lactose intolerant.
But you love cheesecake.
I do. The caramel is nice and gooey. I will try not to take too much of the cheese. You didn't overcook the apples. Still got that crunch in there. The crust is, oh yeah. Oh, that crust is fantastic. So maybe I'll just eat the crust and the apples. Is that possible? And leave you with the extra cream cheese?
All right, so my question is there a good balance of sweetness? Because I try not to be overly sweet.
Right. The Granny Smith adds the tartness, and it does counter or contrast the sweetness. And the sweetness that's in the topping, the caramel, also does not overwhelm the cheesecake filling.
Awesome.
So I think it's a nice balance. It's awesome.
Overall, Mr. Lactose Intolerant
I know.
is like almost done his piece of cheesecake.
Oh, it's good.
All right, thanks, dude. All right, guys, I hope that you found that the cheesecake recipe is super easy. And again, the other cheesecake recipe is in my recipe book, but I pretty much use the same technique there. And we love it when you give us likes and subscribe and share our videos. And come find me on Patreon and Facebook and Instagram. Till next time, be simple, ordinary, and joyful.